From Limaland Motorsports Park, a.k.a. the Quarter Mile of Thunder, it's the Global SimRacing Channel's Round 3 coverage of the Bootleg Racing League's Dirt Street Stock Series presented by the Cruise Shop. After 2 rounds, there is a tie in the points. And for those viewers late to this season, but longtime Bootleg fans, they might be surprised that neither of those names are J.R. Shepherd. On tap are heats, a last chance qualifier and a feature, and all the street stock dirt action comes your way live as it happens right here on GSRC. Good health and welcome. Gary Weaver joins yours truly, Bill Soups on, way after the press box to bring you our bird's eye view. We got Devin Henry down in the dirt to give us some surface analysis. Joe Peak has director duties armed with cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Okay, the University of Northern Ohio owns Limaland Motorsports Park. Go Klondikes! But for the many non-Buckeyes out there who don't know this place, let's get a closer look at Limaland.
Welcome to Limaland. This unique 3/10 of a mile oval nestled in Aleta, Ohio provides a unique challenge to the competitors. Limaland has 2 very short straights coupled together with 2 very tight corners, making momentum king. With it being dirt, astute drivers will notice the cushion change and move and are able to adapt themselves to the constantly changing conditions. 16 degrees of banking in the corners gives way to 8 degrees on the straights. The corners themselves do not lend to being against the tire barriers at the very bottom of the track at all, as that is where the track really flattens out. Speed is made up against the wall, as well as a little fling in dirt while you're at it, with the banking lending drivers plenty of attack chances. The track is owned and operated by the University of Northern Ohio, UNOH for short, and hosts Friday night racing throughout the racing season. This offers the university students a unique opportunity to compete on a professional level while attending school. Limaland is special on the surface because it was one of the first dirt tracks that iRacing scanned to start the dirt model. On top of the local heroes battling it out every Friday night, the track in real life plays host to the UMP Modifieds, who put on a thrilling show every time they descend upon the track. All in all, Limaland provides amazing racing, and it's an absolute driver and fan favorite. Dirt racing popularity is on the rise in the nation, and it's on the rise in iRacing. This is our guide to Limaland. Enjoy the show.
A nice overview of Limaland, but to get into a little more specifics about this place, here's my partner, Gary.
Yep, hello and good evening, everybody. Welcome to Limaland Motorsports Park here, as we are going to take on this little bit of a dirt oval. As well as you see, it's going to be 0.25 miles or 0.4 kilometers if you're not from the, well, if you're not in the same measuring system as, well, some people are. The turns are 16 degrees in banking, with the straightaways being 8 degrees in banking. And while, as you saw on the track guide there, is what I noticed as well, diamonding here at this track might be a little bit more obvious. The top line might not be used too often, but somebody might go and prove me wrong.
And we are so happy to be able to bring you all the action tonight. And of course, we're able to do that thanks to our great sponsor, the Cruise Shop. They've been operating since 1986. They are a team of highly experienced travel agents that have a huge passion for travel. They specialize in cruises, all-inclusive resorts, escorted tours, Disney and family travel, groups, weddings, and honeymoons, in that order. They would love the opportunity to help you plan your next vacation. Give them a call today at 260-755-6125, or here's what I would do. Visit thecruiseshopfw.com. The Cruise Shop is dedicated to fulfilling their clients' dreams one destination at a time. Well, we have 1 standings for you to look at, and let's look at that one at a time. Let's bring those up right now, and we'll let Gary Weaver talk about what he sees up there. There's that tie I was talking about.
Yeah, and you see from last week, Bobby Rafferty had tied Tyler Jackson in the point standings after a very, very grueling race, not only at the dirt track at Charlotte for round 1, but also round 2 of Eldor Speedway, just the previous race. Steven Speed's up in third place at 13 points back. Justin Morton, 29 points back, not too far behind. He's lurking. And, of course, the fifth place position more than likely going to be more than likely going to be replaced, as Stephen Gregory has not shown up for tonight.
Now, as a fan of the Outlaw Racing League, where they used to do the modifieds, and of course now they're doing the stock cars there now. It's good to see Salty Morton up there, the only familiar name that I'm used to seeing racing on the asphalt. Glad to see his talents are carrying over onto the dirt. It's nighttime. Does it really matter what the weather is like? I guess it does. Maybe it has something to do with the track. I guess we'll take a look at that. Devin, we have Devin. Well, let's go to our dirt guy and have him look up to the sky and see what's going on. Devin Henry, what do you think? Is that going to matter at all?
It's not going to matter a whole lot. It's not going to change throughout the race, although high humidity, actually, you do want that moisture inside the track, and sometimes that can actually help that. But we can already see right now that this track is starting to slick off. This was actually one of the first tracks for dirt racing put into iRacing, and it's actually kind of strange that the track model is slightly different. As you look around the track, you'll see almost what looks like sandy spots. That's actually where the track is slicking off. For those of you guys a little bit newer to dirt racing, you really don't want to exit the corner there. You get a minimal grip, if you will, trying to come off those corners. You want to get the most momentum possible and kind of burst off the corners. And also, guys, even though this is a short quarter mile of thunder, you can get pretty wide here, so expect multiple lanes in use throughout the race.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the race details. Gary, what's going on there?
Well, for tonight, your race details are going to be, it's going to be round 3 of 11 here for this season. It's still pretty early on. It'll be quite interesting as we are continuing to race in the dirt street stock. And I said 2 races ago, 2 races in a row, and I'll say it again, these things are built like tanks. Now, I'm not letting go of that. These things can take a beating. It's going to be a heat race format of 8 laps, 6 cars each with the grids inverted for qualifying. The top 2 from those heats will advance. It's actually going to be the top 3 of those drivers from the heats will advance to the feature, according to iRacing here. 16 cars in total will make the feature, 1 backup car available to these drivers as well.
We have a nice full fill for you tonight, so I think we're going to get a full slate of racing with several heat races and, of course, the last chance qualifier that'll bring a lot over to fill up our 16-car feature. Devin, is it an advantage when in this heat race situation to go in a later heat maybe so you can get to see what's going on the track, or get out there right away?
Oh, well, it depends on what you like. If you like to be able to use the track at its best, the earlier you get on the track, the more lines you can utilize. But if you really want it to be a little bit more realistic to what you're going to see, we have seen guys come from the B main and do very well in the feature. That's because they can see the passing lines. They can see what they can actually do with their cars so much later in the race compared to, say, if you're in the first 2-3 heat races. Now, these guys will have a warm-up session between the B main and the feature tonight, but there's nothing like real racing, guys, when it comes to how the track conditions are. So, yeah, you're probably going to want to be a little bit later on if you want to know exactly what this track's going to look like when these guys hit the A main.
And, of course, this is sanctioned by the Bootleg Racing League, and they always have a trick up their sleeve. We talked about the inverse of the qualifying order, so you can see the fast guys. They're going to have to do a little work through the heats, right, Gary? The fast guys should be back in the back. Our heats shouldn't be that big, though. 4 or 5 cars at the most, right?
Yeah, that is relatively correct. Not entirely sure as of yet, to be quite honest, on who's going to be wearing heats, but we will find out here in just about 1 minute's time. So it's going to be quite interesting, really. I mean, we've seen twice, actually last week more notably, where we have seen Tyler Jackson make his way up from the back of the field in the feature, mind you, but made his way up through the back of the field in the feature, and he made it to, I believe, P2 or P3 by the end of the night. So he is definitely going to be making his way back from the back of the field once again. So a little bit of a challenge for Mr. Tyler Jackson, but really nothing new to him. He is open towards that challenge.
Track officials had a little trouble getting the locks opened on the racetrack here today, so the fans were a little bit slow going in. We're a tiny bit behind schedule, but don't worry, we're going to get everything in for you. Love that Dougie Beer camera as that car goes right underneath you. And that's the end of practice, so they're going to go out there and start their qualifying. Now, I don't want to bring this up, but as I'm doing this series, the former series manager that kind of comes into play. Devin, reverse gridding makes you might want to sandbag your qualifying spot. I don't want to. Maybe, I don't know.
Hey, no, that's a phenomenal point, to be honest with you. So that can be strategy moving ahead, but typically you do get a lot of the faster guys go out there, try to put out their best qualifying lap, and boy, it is fun to see those fast guys come from the back of the field for the heat races.
For fans new to iRacing, it will be a lone qualifying session. So while everyone will get to qualify, they'll have the track to themselves, but they get to do it all at once. It's one of the magics of the iRacing platform. Kenny Kibbe was our fastest practicer right now. We're looking at the number 77. That is Bobby Rafferty, your points leader. Well, tied for the points lead. Looks like he's taking kind of the middle line through there.
And we'll see across the start-finish line. Get ready to see the top right of your corner screen. Well, get ready to see that fastest lap notification change about multiple times right now. Rafferty so far at front, but for the time being, can he even better his lap time? It was a 15.376. That time, no, about 10 slower. For Aiden Young, who debuted last week. Very interesting showing. Actually, we're now taking a look at Brendan Meyers, who just now got shoved down to 8th place. I think a little bit of contact with the outside wall there. Brendan Meyers with a very interesting paint scheme, and I don't think he's not going to lose that paint scheme for quite a while. He's probably going to be using that for as long as he can, but Aiden Young just 0.011 seconds back from the pole position. Let's take a look at Dylan Schweer. 15.431 his fastest lap, so relatively the same lap time as Bobby Rafferty's second lap time that time around. Still mid 15.4 for the time being.
Young did have a great result his last time out, his first time, his initial race, and he finished very well. Sitting up there second on the grid right now.
Well, Bobby Rafferty, I think they started to prove me wrong just a little bit. I was expecting a few more drivers to, I was expecting that fastest lap graphic to come up a little bit more often, but Bobby Rafferty pretty much has this thing sealed, although Tyler Jackson, technically second in points in a sense, or tied for first at least, he has not yet gone on track. So I think Tyler Jackson is waiting until the second half of this qualifying to really get out there and make his laps. But Jared Shepard now comes across the start-finish line that time around. It wasn't faster, unfortunately. Actually, it was faster, just by about 0.05 seconds. So Shepard slowly making his way up. He was doing great with slide jobs last week.
Talking about Tyler Jackson, clearly he realizes once everyone puts in their laps and they come into the grid, our director will have no choice but to put the camera on him. So I think he's out there hoping to steal some camera time, waiting for the very end. We're looking at the 14 car. That is Kenny Kibbe. Now there's a veteran of the pavement. Kibbe currently sitting, what is it, comes up here on my qualifying time? Oh, way up there. Second, it looks like.
Yeah, second place for now, but, well, guess who's on track? It's the number 8 of Tyler Jackson, who's apparently here now to steal some TV time from Kenny Kibbe. But Kibbe, though, continues to set his lap times. Tyler Jackson about to finish his first lap, and we'll see what he comes across as a shocking P7, actually. So we'll see. He does have, at least Tyler Jackson, he has about 3 or so more laps. He's on his second of 4 laps right now. So he does have a little bit of time to get used to the track within these 2 laps. Well, there it is, up to second, knocking Kibbe down to P3. Now that advantage, a little bit of contact with the outside wall, might not have this lap time count, but he's way up there on the top side. We'll see if he steals the pole from Rafferty. He does have this time by his last lap. Yep, that lap was invalidated. So this is going to be his final chance, as Redding is now out on the racetrack as well.
Rafferty and Jackson have been dominating the top of the finishing orders in the first 2 events, each with a win, each with the second place. just alternated how they perform that, and when you do that, that's how you end up in a tie.
The second lap time was a 15.374 for Tyler Jackson. Can Michael Redding continue to better his lap times? We'll see. He does have at least one more lap coming to the start-finish line this time around. So Redding pretty much the only driver left now on the track, save for a few other drivers making some practice runs. Not that much faster that time around. So I think Redding may have had his little golden lap in a sense.
And of course, the heat grids will be set by a serpentine qualifying order, so they'll take the fastest one and then they'll line them up after that. I'm expecting 5 heats here today if we get a full slate. Look at that beautiful Ohioan sky pushing down on the racetrack. All right, let's go ahead and give you the starting grid for the very first heat. It is Bobby Rafferty and, let me make sure I get this right. Bobby Rafferty and Michael Redding, if I have this correct. David Lamont and Ron Snyder. Brock Lovett and Brennan Meyers in the 6-car race.
That indeed is correct. It looks like it's going to be 4 heats now in a consolation event. The consolation, the last chance qualifier, will be at 12 laps. And at the moment, it is one driver that wins that will make it to the feature. But considering that we have 12 drivers in total advancing from Heat 1, from the top 3 drivers. Sorry. My apologies. I'll see if I can get English correctly as the pace truck pulls off, but it's going to be 3 drivers from these 4 heats. That's 12 in total, so it might be at this point another 4 drivers from the constellation that will make it into the feature.
That'll make it very, very exciting in that one. The number 77 in control of the field, Bobby Rafferty. The number 30 outside of him. Our beautiful pace truck bringing them around under the lights here at Limaland. Glad that you're with us here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Let's get ready to go racing. Chug-a-lug, chug-a-lug, makes you want to holler, hi-ho! Oh, there's a little bit of a bump. And sure enough, the number 3 is going to lead. It's going to be Davey Lamont. Now, Lamont's going to be challenged on the outside. That is Redding. Redding and Lamont, 1 and 2. Rafferty still in the transfer spot in 3rd.
And Rafferty got immediately shuffled out right away. That did not take long, unfortunately, for him. But now he's got Ron Snyder looming in the back bumper at least. Not exactly the mirror, as I don't believe are any, but Rafferty just at this point hanging on for it, hoping that Snyder does not get a run to the inside, but Redding continues to run away with it with Lamont in 2nd.
Boy, you can see Snyder back 4th in line, trying to figure out a line that will get him around Rafferty. He's going to take a shot down on the low side. He's going to swing up, but he has no momentum. The 77 of Rafferty able to hang on to that spot. Up in front, driving away, cooking with hot fish grease. It is Michael Redding. He's got a 4-car length lead over Davey Lamont.
And you might have it for now just in the background. Brennan Meyers tried to make it past the inside of Brock Lovett, but that did not happen. I think Rafferty now is going to try and challenge. Yeah, he's going to try and slide to the inside for P3 of Lamont. Sorry, P2, but that didn't work out. That almost sent Rafferty around and almost led him to over-rotate. But Rafferty just managed to hang on to it, but now he's in the clutches of Ron Snyder and maybe Brock Lovett, depending on how this goes.
Thought Rafferty might lose momentum with that failed attempt on Lamont, but that was not the case. Snyder not able to take advantage of the slowness of the car in front. The 77 still sitting in 3rd. And now Lovett, you're right. In fact, they're racing in the 66, looking to get into the mix. White flag is out. It's going to be an easy, speasy win for Michael Redding as he has just these final corners to go. Davey Lamont is also going to transfer a few, as well as Bobby Rafferty. They're going to have to work a little harder for Ron Snyder, Brock Levitt, and Brennan Meyers, as they will all go to the last chance qualifier. And now we go to heat number 2. Again, we have 6 cars in this one. I think we have time. I'll run through the first row here. It's Tyler Jackson and Steven Spies in the top row. Gary, who do you got in row 2?
Row 2, we have Justin Morton and Robbie Robinson in number 56.
Watch out. Danger Robbie Robinson. Jared Melton and Roger Woody down there in the 3rd row. Devin, what do you think of that first heat and where the line of racing is?
Well, they lined up pretty evenly, straight in a straight line once they all started to get sorted out. But you probably noticed already they're all using up that middle line. Don't expect too many more heat races where they're going to be able to do that, as that part of the track is already starting to slick off. Look out maybe towards the end of this heat race, or probably more likely the next heat race, for these guys try to zone out a little bit, find a new line here as the dirt continues to slick on over.
Tyler Jackson in control of the field out there in the number 8. Heat number 2. Again, the top 3 will advance.
Tyler Jackson is in a very, very comfortable spot here for this heat race.
Truck is in. And we're going racing. Great jump from Jackson. Spies is stuck on the top side. Let's see if you can get any momentum up there. That seems to be the faster line. And sure enough, the 55 can power off of corner number 3. The number 6 of Justin Morton, Salty, sitting in 3rd. A battle back there in 4th. Look at the run up on top. That is Robbie Robinson. Gets powering by the car underneath the 75 of Jared Melton.
Robinson nearly made contact as well as we ride on board. Tyler Jackson seeing that number 55 just looming in the left there, the driver's left-hand side, down to the inside of Tyler Jackson. But for 3rd place, the transfer spot, no, it wasn't enough. Robbie Robinson slid down to the inside, but unfortunately did not have enough momentum to keep it there to the inside. So Justin Morton continues to stay in the transfer spot for the time being, but Robinson might have a little bit of time to set up here for these next few laps.
Talk about the transfer spot, but there is action up front, as indeed Spies is spying on the number 8 car of Tyler Jackson, trying to get underneath them. Not able to get the blue car inside of him to make the position. 3rd place now, feeling pretty good for Salty Morton. He's got himself a 2-car length lead on Danger Robbie Robinson. Robinson trying to work some lines, trying to figure out some way to get up there. As they are working halfway through this heat now.
At this point, I think it might be all said and done unless Robinson has something for Morton, or unless Morton really has a mistake. I don't think it's really going to happen at this point, as we're at now 2 laps to go. I think Steven Speeds at this point, I think is really just about to, just say back and just going to let Tyler Jackson run away with this.
So keep in mind, Jackson will come around. He will get the transfer spot as well as Spies and Morton. You want to mark that down on your clipboard, though, because when we get to the main event, we'll make a comparison between that and Rafferty. Coming across! At the finish, it is indeed Jackson, Spies, and Morton. Robbie Robinson, Jared Melton, and Roger Woody will have to work a little harder. They have a little more job to do in front of them. Boy, as always, you love these heat races because it's this action after action. Let's go ahead and go through the grid here for heat number 3. Kenny Kibbe, a veteran of the Outlaw Modified Series, sitting up there on the front row. There he is. We talked about him in his familiar number 98, old J.R. Shepherd. Gary, who's in row 2?
We got Brad Speidel in the 76 and then the 87, the Todd Liston on his outside. One shot for Todd Liston. He's been up in the front pack, up into the front portion of the field a few times, and he's not afraid to put on the challenge.
I'll tell you, Soup feeling right at home with a lot of familiar names here that I know from the from that Outlaw Modified Series. In row 3, John Wilson, and it is familiar number 26. Yeah, the surface may have changed, but the car number stays the same. Donnie Moore. Devin, now it gets a little bit interesting because we get those big guys out of the way. Rafferty and Jackson. Now let's see what these guys who are a little farther down the standings can do, right?
Yeah, you might see these guys start to tighten up just a little bit, and it's going to get really interesting as these guys have to move around, try to find a different line as the middle groove continues to slick off, guys. Here we come to the green.
Truck is in. These lower splits have a reputation of being more chaotic. Kibby in the 14. Powering out at corner number 2. He gets a little bit of a Shepard. They race Shepard on the top side, trying to make it work down low is Brad Spidle. That's not going to happen.
And Brad Spidle trying to use the inside to his advantage, but look at a roundup on the top side. Todd Liston, he'll try and get a run on the outside, but that's just not going to run this racetrack, at least in these dirt street stocks. He's got John Wilson on the inside, and you see most of the field there off turn number 4. They over-rotate just a little bit, so that racing surface definitely might be slicking up just ever so slightly enough to nearly over-rotate these cars for these drivers.
Let's give John Wilson a little tip of the hat, at least for being creative. He's trying to work down low, trying to make that, not really the bottom line, kind of the middle line work relative to what everyone else is racing, sure is the bottom line. Devin, doing a pretty good job down there.
Definitely the only guy that low right now, not quite up to the berm, but you can see these guys really starting to fan out as Todd Liston looks way to the inside.
Boy, Liston dove in deeper than beatnik poetry, but he was able to whoa up. I think he got into a little bit of contact. We talked about Milton's low line. I think he's given up the ghost there. He's starting to race more normally. Look at this battle for second now. Shepard under attack from Spinal.
It's going to be side by side as Spidle tries to look to the inside with 2 laps to go. And again, just that line that Spidle is taking, he does not look too secure in a sense. His grip on the tires don't look too secure on that line. He'll try and make a challenge if he can on J.R. Shepard. This is going to make Kenny Kibbe run away with the lead, though, with 1 lap to go.
You're wondering why would Spidle care so much? I mean, he's going to transfer over. Well, if he can pick up that spot, if he can finish second, it's going to be a lot when we get to the on the grid. As far as where he's going to be grid up on the feature race. Under the white flag is already done. He gets the checker flag. It is Kenny Kibbe. Shepard hangs on to second. And Brad Spidle will get the transfer spot. Todd Liston will have to wait till next time, as will the remainder of that group. That included John Wilson and Donnie Moore. Let's go to heat number 4. I'm telling you, there's no rest for the weary here in a Bootleg Racing League dirt event. On the front row, Aiden Young. Watch out, he's quick. Keep an eye on him when we get to the feature, assuming Aiden gets there. Dylan Schwer in the second spot.
Third place going to be the number 2 of Brendan Winstead. Interestingly enough, the only single car digit driver here in this heat race for now. Jason Menda on his outside in the 45 rounds off the top 4.
The number 81, Jonathan Livingston Segala. And he's going to be flanked by the 24 of Austin Belkey. We're working heat number 4. We've already qualified 9. In fact, this is our final heat. Devin, so what happens in the consolation? Will that be the same track that we got? Well, we'll get it here in a second. I'll get to you when we go live here, as we're about to have Aiden Young lead them down into the first corner. Comfortably gets in there. Look at the fight down low from the number 2 of Brandon Winstead. Powering up on top. We got ourselves a new leader. Dylan Schwer going to get there in the number 5. And look at the battle back for third, Gary.
That's going to be Brendan Winstead on the outside, Jason Menda on the inside. I thought Winstead was initially going to peek down through the middle and make it 3 wide. Luckily, that wasn't the case. But Jason Menda using the inside lane as much as possible, try and get past Brendan Winstead. And with that start-finish line being more towards turn 1, it's going to be interesting to see how drag races go as they drag race down the back straightaway. Jason Menda continues to run the inside lane, and it just might barely be enough, at least at the start-finish line, lap 4 of 8, as they make contact, and around goes the 45 of Jason Menda, and caution comes out.
That was a great battle going on between Menda and Winstead, and there was just not enough track for the 2 cars to go side by side. Menda on the top side. Oh, let me correct my Menda on the low side. In the 45. And around they go. All right, since we're under caution, now I can go to Devin. Now, Devin, I don't mean to put you under the gun here. Is the Consolation, do we expect that to be the same track conditions as we're racing in the heat, or do they freshen that up, you know?
No, they will not take the blade and the water truck to this track. They will indeed be carrying this track over to the Consolation race. So take notes, boys, if you're not going to be in the top 3 here.
Indeed. So Jason Menda is still out there in the 45, but he's got some work to do. Looking there, boy, we're going to have 2 to go up. I assume the pace car is going to come in. The pace truck's going to come in this time. Put $1 in the jar soup. We're going to have ourselves a 1-lap shootout here. Schwer on the inside, Young on the outside. Boy, he is way out there. He's going to be put at risk. Winstead in the number 2, side by side. They have 2 more corners to go. The white flag is waving. It looks like the transfer positions are safe. Wait, there's a bit of a drive up on top. He's not going to get there. Joe Segala will have to settle for 4th. Shearer and Young go 1-2. Winstead. Segala, Belke will have to work a little harder to get into the last chance qualifier along with Jason Menda. My goodness. And now we are at what they're calling the Consolation Grid. It's really your last chance qualifier. Wait for everybody to get out there. I believe the grid, I can do this right now if I can. Director, am I good to go on this? All right, I think I'm seeing Dylan Schwer in the pole position with Justin Morden outside of him. Gary, who's in row 2?
That's going to be for the feature event, actually. Just a bit too eager there. Almost that, though.
There we go. Let me start again. I got it. Ron Snyder and Robbie Robinson on the front row. Gary, who's in row 2?
Could be Todd Liston, and interestingly enough, Joe Segala with the last chance charge. We'll keep an eye on him for this heat, or sorry, this Consolation event.
Devin, I know you're down there in the dirt. Are you able to see the grid? Can you call who's in row 3?
Yes, sir. In row number 3, the 66 of Brock Lovett, and starting 6th, the number 75 of Jared Melton.
Then in the next row, it's John Wilson and Austin Belke. Gary?
Brendan Meyers and Roger Woody are starting 9th and 10th.
Devin, last row for you.
Yeah, round out the field in 11th, the 26 of Donnie Moore, and Jason Menda, fresh off that last heat race, will round out the field in 12th.
I'm new to this, guys. You want to help me out? How many laps are we going here today? Do we know the Consolation?
Yep. Have the information right here. It's going to be a 12-lap event, and it's going to be now the top 8, interestingly enough, that make it to the feature, not the 16. So see if iRacing will make a correction, but we shall see when the feature comes.
Thank you for checking that out for me, Gary. It's been a long time since I've done one of these heats events. Got to get back on the bike here. All right, time to go racing. Bob Snyder down below. He's got control. Look at the power from the 56 up there of Robbie Robinson. A battle back for 3rd. Down low, that's the 87 of Todd Liston. Working the top side is Joe Segala. Some bumping and banging going back. Liston's going to lose a lot of momentum.
Luckily for Todd Liston, though, he does have until at least about position 8 before he's going to start getting worried. So he's hovering around the 4th place right now. He's trying to make a charge on the inside right now for the time being on what looks to be the 81 of Joe Segala, but Segala's using that top side to his advantage as of right now, so it's going to be a battle of each line and a little bit of a battle of real estate as well on corner exit by the looks of those two.
Devin, I've been watching car number 75. That is Jared Melton. He may be taking one of the highest lines of all. Look at him way up there by the wall.
And the reason for that is he's basically making new dirt, new fresh dirt. He's pushing that cushion higher and higher on the track. Every time you do that, you're going to be in stickier, grippier mud. And not to mention, if no one's there, it's a little easier to pass, right?
Be fast where they are. And look at the 75 with a good run as he continues to work on the number 66 of Brock Lovett. Now, from what we believe, that the 75 Jared Milton is in the transfer spot. But man, he's got a good handle on how this track is feeling right now.
Jared Milton is in the transfer spot. At the moment, it's predicted top 8 that will be making it into the feature. So, again, we'll see what iRacing decides. It might be 20 drivers making it into the feature, but again, we will see. But Jared Milton, John Wilson, and all the way, pretty much all the way back to Brendan Meyers are the drivers that will be making it in. As right now, looking to the inside for looks to be position number 4. I don't think Todd Liston is up on battling with Joe Segala just yet.
Now, if we go to the lead real quick, we're looking at some lap tracking and fifths. How about a tip of the hat to number 45 of Jason, a veteran of any Lionheart event? He pulls it out of the way. He knew it wasn't his night, and now his night is over. He was a lap down, did not want to cause any trouble. Oh, the action is back in 5th position. The 87 down low of Todd Liston. That's Segala. He's trying ahead of him, and back there lurking is the 66 of Brock Lovett.
Interestingly enough, I'm looking at the lines that Todd Liston's running. Well, there goes his chance of running the top line that one time. But he's running the top line pretty much relatively the same line there in turns 1, 2, 3, and 4. You see he runs the inside lane, slides up a little bit, gives a little bit of room, and then goes right back down to the inside lane, slides up again. So I think he's trying out that lane for a moment behind Segala, but that was not going to work, as this time by is going to be the finishing order.
They come around. It is Rod Snyder, Robbie Robinson, Joe Segala, Todd Liston, Brock Lovett, Jared Milton, John Wilson, Brendan Meyers, Roger Woody, Austin Belkey, and the last 2 cars, Donnie Moore and Jason Menda. For those last few names, their night is over here in Northern Ohio. And now we go to the grid, and Gary was indeed right. 20 cars making it in. We can all catch our breath now as they have 5 minutes to go out. Now, Devin, now does the track change? Now do they water it down, or are we still racing on what we had earlier on?
We'll water it down a little bit. The track will be a little bit different than what you just saw in that Constellation race as it continues to grow and change. But something that you guys on the broadcast might notice as we have this beautiful aerial shot is there is some dark spots, especially out there at the exit of turn 2, where it's almost black right there. Believe me, guys, in the car, you can't see that. So if these guys are racing 3 wide when you're in the middle of this 20-car race, boy, you better know who's around you, because it gets really dark right there in turn 2 and also on the high side in turn 3.
Having a wonderful time here at Limaland Raceway. Devin, what do you got to say?
Well, it's always fun here, and very interesting about this track is usually you have the series run on Saturday nights, but actually over here at the quarter mile of Thunder Limaland Motorsports Park, they regularly race on Friday nights, just like we are right now. Their season starts a little bit later in the year than right now, but hey, we're having regular Friday night racing at Limaland Motorsports Park. And of course, we mentioned this is owned and operated by the University of Northern Ohio, so usually not only just college kids in the stands, but also college kids down on the track racing as well. So a really fun track up in northwestern Ohio. But for tonight, we have the virtual site here on GSRC.
Of course, our director, born and raised in Ohio, Cincinnati kid, Joe Peach. Southwest Ohio, apparently a long way from this place. All right, Gary, you've been around for the first few races. You've seen these guys race. I guess Redding and Jackson up front, kind of expected. Does anybody have a shot at these two?
Well, I'm not sure. Going off the times right now, I'm looking between, just like last week, I'm looking at the times between Jackson and Rafferty, as they are now going to be in battle contention, or in contention to battle for the points standing. So even though it's only race 3 of 11 right now, so take a look at Brock Lovett. Look at all that dust. It's going to be the same thing. You're going to have to watch out for that dust on corner entry when you're in the back of the field. But in terms of the points battle for now, well, Bobby Rafferty and Tyler Jackson, as far as I know, are currently tied still for the time being. So it's going to be something to really look out for. The 8 and the 77, where Tyler Jackson is, well, it has been said by Tyler Jackson. He wasn't sure I don't think he still is quite sure if he's going to be available to keep racing in this series. So I'm sure he wants to get his name out there and make himself known as much as possible. But Bobby Rafferty in the 77 looking to kind of support that, or at least give Tyler Jackson a little bit of a cheer for this season, especially since I believe the previous defending champion was the 8 of Tyler Jackson. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how Rafferty goes up against the defending champ here for this race compared to last week.
You don't have to be a Hawkins or an Einstein here. They come into this event tied. They'll be sitting on the front row. There are no bonus points for poles or laps led, so whoever finishes the best will most likely come out of here the points leader, unless they both take each other out and somebody able to sneak in.
Yeah, allowing someone to sneak in is something that you don't want, whether you're tied for the lead or not. Either way, in the entire top 4 points alone, well, it's going to be something to really look out for. Maybe even top 3. Well, definitely top 4. We'll see where everyone sorts themselves out at the end of the night. But again, it's just something where sneaking in is so far the specialty of Bobby Rafferty. He snuck in already. He snuck in to tie the lead, but can he break that tie in this race?
Yeah, I need to correct myself. They will not be side by side, of course. I think that's the case. We'll see how it plays out when we get to the grid.
Coming to the grid, it is going to be actually, I was definitely misspeaking there. Apologies for that. I don't believe I can get their exact positions for this warm-up, but they are starting 2nd and 9th respectively, Tyler Jackson and Bobby Rafferty. So I apologize for that. I was looking at that thinking it was the warm-up times. Right now it's Tyler Jackson in 2nd. Bobby Rafferty, however, was the top fastest. So we'll see how he fares as warm-up comes to an end.
40 laps on tap. There will be yellow flags. Let's go to the grid. On front, it is Michael Redding. He's going to be flanked by Tyler Jackson. Gary?
2nd place is going to be Kenny Kippy. Keep an eye on him. Sorry, 3rd place, Kenny Kippy. Dylan Schwier rounds out the 4th place in the 2nd row.
Davey Lamont and Stefan Spies will go in row 3. Gary?
That's going to be J.R. Shepard and Aiden Young. Keep an eye on those two in 7th and 8th.
Bobby Rafferty and Justin Salty Morden go 9th and 10th.
Starting 11th will be Brad Spile. Brendan Winstead, who managed to make it in. Keep an eye out for him to be in the top 10 by the end of this. He starts 12th.
Ron Snyder and Danger Robbie Robinson in the 14th spot.
Joe Segal and Todd Liston start 15th and 16th respectively.
17th is Brock Lovett. 18th, Jared Milton.
Rounding out the 20-car field will be John Wilson and Brennan Meyers.
All right. Put the lazy boy to good use, boys and girls. Put your feet up. Hope you got yourself a refreshing beverage. You got our streaming feed transferred over to your big screen. Sit back and enjoy the action here. Now the car in control, Michael Redding, will be on the outside lane. I guess that probably makes sense. The number 8 will have to work a little harder. Let's go racing. The 30 on the outside trying to make it work. Whoa, he's going to lose a lot of time unless he gets a good bite off of 2, and he does. Look at him scream by Redding. And Redding now goes up into the front. Jackson down low.
Brendan was way up top there in turns 3 and 4, but it did manage to work out as Kenny Kibbe and I believe the number 3 of David Lamont made a little bit of contact. They are 3 wide in the corner with Justin Morton a little bit up top. Kibbe gets turned in front of the field, right in front of Justin Morton, and that's going to be a caution at some point. For some reason, caution has not been thrown by iRacing just yet, but most certainly this time by it might have to be thrown.
Kibbe and Lamont were banging doors for a good lap where it finally went south for Kibbe, but we're going to keep racing. Tough break for the 14. Aiden Young now sits in 5th.
looking back.
They start
through.
to string out a little bit.
Yeah, they're starting to string out a little ways, unless they're J.R. Shepard, who's trying to immediately pass David Lamont on the inside, but Steven Spees in the 55 was all over the back bumper of Dylan Schwier in the 05 there through turns 1 and 2, and he'll be all over the back bumper again. But Schwier takes a inside lane this time around, so looks to be a little bit of a limiting battle between these three as Aiden Young moves to the inside. But there goes Spees down to the inside. Slide job in front of the 05. The 05 crosses over down to the inside lane, and that's going to be the 05 getting position number 3 at the start finish. Ron Kibbe back out of pit road after taking a quick repair. As Steven Spees dives down to the inside, slides back up again. Another crossover from the 05 as the caution comes out.
Never get tired of seeing that crossover move. Caution is out.
Might be from the 14. How looks of this?
Not sure why we get. I'm not seeing anything. We're looking around to see if we can find it. I don't see anybody going around. Continue to search.
Oh, it's in the
director
dust
found
there.
Who was that, director? It was Todd Liston.
They're up on the outside wall, and right in the opening. Yep, twice for Todd Liston, almost a third time. I think that was an immediate tow from Liston, but not too much of good luck. It was an immediate tow from Liston, unfortunately, as Kenny Kibbe is getting waved around the pace truck right now. So he's getting at least 1 lap back, as far as I know.
As we're about to go green, Kenny Kibbe got to be thinking, I guess I had to put my car on the lid to get a yellow flag. He did a 180. That wasn't enough to do it. Pace car stays out. We're going to go around one more time. Put another $1 in the jar soup. It is a truck. And it pulls its in. Let's go racing. On the inside, it's the number 8 of Tyler Jackson. On the outside, the number 30 of Michael Redding. Here we go. The 8 takes it down low. The 30 stays up top. Oh, getting in there is the 55. Spees tries to spy his way into the second position. He does. Look at the 8 scoot through. Down low, it's the 55 of Spees. Working really hard on Redding.
Yeah, it might be a 3-wide situation here ever so slightly, but the 8 of Tyler Jackson is saying, yeah, not today. I'd rather not. And he will charge out in front of the lead for the time being, nearly 4 wide as 3 of David Lamont looks up to the outside. I believe that's the number 8, but 3 wide just ever so slightly for P4 as Tyler Jackson nearly gets the outside wall.
I think Jackson did put that right rear into the wall, got himself a little bit more grip coming out of there. Definitely, the action up front is intense, but I'm telling you, farther back, it's great to watch the guys trying to figure out their way through the grid.
Even the top 5 right now, you got Aiden Young trying to hop into the top 4, but yeah, you look all around this place right now, there's plenty of action going on along the field. 2 wide, 3 wide in some places.
Devin, can putting that right rear against the wall, can that actually make you go faster? I've seen Jackson actually rest that part of the car against there.
That's exactly what you want to do. You just want to rest it a little bit too much, and as this track continues to slick off and you slide more, you're going to bang that wall pretty hard. Of course, you want the best momentum possible. Just kind of tag in that right rear quarter panel on the wall will help you have that momentum off of turns 2 and 4.
Yeah, Redding really, he doesn't. You look at Redding in the 30, man, he's trying to put that right rear back there. Boy, he banks it, he banks it, he banks it again.
Luckily for Redding, at least these street stocks are, as I mentioned, built like tanks. A few problems on the side of Tyler Jackson, but luckily, maybe not. We'll see how Jackson sorts himself out. It was a little bit of a look to the inside for P3 from Dylan Schwier in the 05, but nothing doing on Steven Spees, looking through the field for the 77 of Rafferty. Rafferty is actually out of this race. Not sure as to why, but right now, Tyler Jackson at this point may be setting the precedent to breaking the tie for the points lead at the end of this night.
Indeed, great racing going on. I know a lot of people are out of work right now, but there's going to be a job for a local mason there in the way that Michael Redding keeps pounding that wall. Look at this, what our director has found. Look at that number 3. That is Davey Lamont. Down low is Dylan Schweier. The car right behind is Aiden Young.
Schweier looks to the inside, and that's not going to be enough as the caution is out. I believe it may have been the 25 of Meyers. We'll hold off. It was a 20. It probably was a 25 of Meyers. We will take a look. He did a very long spin. See, there it is on the replay. Long spin. It was just in front of Kibbe, and lights on the pace truck turn on. So I think that was the cause of the caution. It was just a long spin from Meyers, but unfortunately, it was so in front of Kenneth Kibbe. Was coming in at full speed with that, and it was decided to have the yellow throw Meyers. And Kibbe's going to get his lap back as well this time around, since he did run into couple complications. He didn't get his lap back run when he had spun earlier on. He did have to take fast repair under green flag conditions. But this time by, he should be at least 1 lap down, and he is.
So, Devin, Tyler Jackson is our leader. Does he get to choose which line he wants?
He will have lane selection. Look for him to take the outsides. That is the dominant line around the track. And Tyler Jackson is your defending winner here from last season. He led 38 of 50 laps to take that race.
And we're going right now. I would have thought he'd take the outside line too, but boy, the 30 got up there and said, nah, you take the inside. Doesn't really matter. Jackson is comfortable out there. Oh, no, he's going to be wide. Look at this battle now. The 30 underneath him. There is Redding. I think he's going to lead this time, but look at the momentum from the 8.
Oh, 3 wide for the lead. Spees trying to take to the inside. They all open doors for the top 3. And Spees now, it's going to be a 3-4 car wreck as they wreck in the middle of the field. Caution is going to come out.
I believe,
Rock Lovett, one of the drivers
there's
involved.
a mess of them.
Oh, yeah.
Brad Speidel might have been the first one. No.
Yeah, Ron Snyder, you see here. Yep, there it is. Just immediately gets turned. Nowhere to go for Snyder. The 76 and then the 66 of Brock Lovett. They get involved, and unfortunately, 66 gets turned around afterwards as well by 25. He was trying to have some type of avoidance. There's just so much bad luck. Right on board with Jared Milton here for this replay.
Boy, what a mess.
Ooh.
And it worked out okay.
Just how quick it was. It cleaned out the inside line immediately. Lights out on the pace truck again. The 8 takes to the inside.
He does it. It didn't work for him last time. I'm surprised he's doing it again. But this time, he doesn't have Redding next to him. He's got Steven Spees.
And delayed green for the time being. They want Kenny Kibbe to catch up and possibly fix a few things with penalties possibly signed from iRacing's race control, but lights are out again, and I believe we should be going green. I'm again still very interested that Jackson is restarting on the inside as opposed to the outside. He was doing great up top.
Looks like we'll have an 8-lap shootout. I'm looking at number 55 maybe to be leading this lap here as soon as we go green. Let's see what he can do from the top. Good jump from Jackson. Look at Redding tucked right in there. What do I know? The 55 is struggling out there, but now he gets a run from the top. More bumping and banging. The 3 looking down there. Lamont, that's down low in that car, but go ahead. Get credit for leading that lap. It is Jackson.
I think Steven Spees is about to get shuffled off just a little bit. The 3. Davey Lamont, however, snuck his way up into the top 3. He was nearly 3 wide for P2 that time around, and a caution is out once again.
Boy, Lamont and Spees were side by side. It'll be interesting to see how iRacing scores them. It could matter. That number 3 looks very competitive. Let's see where that brought that out. Oh, it looks
14.
like it was Kenny Kibbe involved in another one.
Yep. There's a quick lone spin for Kenny Kibbe, unfortunately, in turns 1 and 2. We'll see on the replay here. Just a little bit beforehand, it was with a 66 of Brock Lovett. That's a quick lone spin. Here it is. Over rotates from the 66, and just like that, it's a quick tag to send the 14 around right in front of the pace truck, conveniently enough, but as getting back and going around, and that brought it back.
Yeah, Lovett had the car really perpendicular with the racing line, and then they got into him.
Spidel as well.
We come back live. Okay, so how did iRacing score it? Jackson, now they've got Redding in second. Jackson continues to hang on that inside line. It worked for him once. It didn't work for him once. Watch out for the number 3. He is really good. That's the second car in line on the inside. That David Lamont. We've got 3 to go.
Look at Michael Redding send it to the inside. That is a great job. 2 laps to go for Jackson. He might have this in the bag unless Lamont or Redding have something for him here on this last lap.
Watch Lamont try to work the inside, the middle line, really. Now powering off is the 30 of Redding to try to get second. All this going on behind Tyler Jackson, who's been in control the whole way. The 05 now getting in there. Dylan Schreier trying to get down below as they get the white flag. Coming to the line. Your winner, Tyler Jackson. Michael Redding will take second. Dylan Schreier is going to get third. J.R. Shepard sneaks up into fourth. Justin Morden rounds out the top 5. Well, that was pulse quickening.
At this point, Tyler Jackson has pretty much unofficially broken the tiebreaker. After an unfortunate early retirement from the 77 to Rafferty, Tyler Jackson rightfully burning it down here at Limaland.
The racing's over here. Our broadcast is not. We'll take a short break. We'll come back, run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate here at Limaland. Don't go far. You're watching the Global SimRacing Channel. Welcome back to the Global SimRacing Channel and its Round 3 coverage of the Bootleg Racing League's Dirt Street Stock Series presented by the Cruise Shop. We come to you from Limaland Motorsports Park. The results are in. Let's give them to you right now. Tyler Jackson, boy, he was the cream of the crop for the feature race as he gets the win. Try as they might, Michael Redding, Dylan Schreier, and J.R. Shepard. Actually, Shepard gets there late to pick up that 4th position. Justin Morden will finish in 5th. Joe Segala, a quiet 6th spot with Aiden Young. He's good in the points. Watch for him to be up there still when we come back for round 4. Kenny Kibbe, even though he had an eventful race, he finishes 8th ahead of Brandon Winston and Brock Lovett. Gary?
And then the second half of your field is going to be Robbie Robinson going from 19th to 11th. Great job by, actually that's going to be for 12th place. Sorry, John Wilson in 11th place going from 19th to 11th. Apologies for that. Robbie Robinson 14th to 12th. Still a day for him. Brendan Meyers from 20th to 13th. Rex Fowle finishes 14th. Stephen Spears, unfortunately, with a good night, falls to 15th at the end of the night. Jared Milton finishes in 18th, and unfortunately, Davey Lamont finishing 1 lap down. Snyder as well, finishing 4 laps down in 18th. And Todd Liston and Bobby Rafferty having troubles, finishing 19th and 20th, 33 and 38 laps down, respectively.
Yeah, as we ran through that order, I was surprised to see Davey Lamont in the 3 who was racing up front. And also Spies so far down, Stefan Spies so far down the order when we got to the final results. Really not an indication of how well they raced today. All right, I do have the pleasure of talking to our race winner, Tyler Jackson. Tyler, congratulations. I want to talk to you about your choice of lanes to start those restarts. You do get to pick which one you wanted, right?
Yeah, we get to choose in this league.
We thought for sure that the outside lane was the way to go, but for the most part, the inside seemed to work for you.
Yeah, it's a long way around the top there when you don't have your momentum up, so guys can throw sliders on you, and I figure I'd rather be the one throwing it than getting it thrown to me, so that's why I went low and then drifted up high.
When you're out there in front, how much racing do you do looking ahead, and how much racing do you do in the rearview mirror?
Well, I'd like to say I don't look in the mirror at all, but you keep an eye on what's going on. Just making sure nobody's getting ready to throw a slide job on you. They come quick here. I love this track. You can throw slide jobs all day on this track.
Is dirt your specialty?
Yeah, I started with the asphalt stuff, but been a lifelong dirt fan. When Dad raced in real life, go to the races quite a bit. So once iRacing did dirt, I really haven't touched the asphalt since.
Understandable. Hey, congratulations on a great finish today. What's your schedule for the rest of the season? You a full-timer?
I'm going to try to run this series the whole season. I got a big money race next week in the dirt late model.
Got it. Well, good luck with that. Our race winner today, Tyler Jackson. Gary, who you got?
All right, now here with the number 30 of Michael Redding, who luckily still manages a podium finish, but unfortunately, Tyler Jackson had just ever so slightly outpowered him. But Michael Redding, you were not afraid to go into the middle lane when you had to, and quite literally made it 3 wide just for a couple moments. How's the track handling out there tonight throughout this event?
Track was perfect for me. Just that first restart killed me. Tyler got back around me, and I never could get back in front of him. When I would get in front of him, he'd cross me back over, and then I'd have to set him up again. And by the time I'd get him set up, another caution would come out. So we were kind of chasing that the whole night. But all in all, I mean, I'll take second place, better than last week, that's for sure.
And second place, much better than last week, and you still managed to hang on those other restarts compared to the first one as well. And well, heading into the next couple of events, what are you looking out for? What's going to be your really your thought process heading into the next event?
Well, there's only one thing I got on my mind, and that's win. And we're headed to Knoxville, I think, for the next one, and going in there guns blazing. Had 2 bad races at the start of the season, kind of dug myself a hole, and time to get out of it. We're going to start making things happen, get a little more aggressive.
Before we let you go, anyone that you have to give a shout out to for your second place?
Yeah, definitely got to thank Outlaw Modified Series coming on board this year for sponsorship. Young Gun Creations. Also got to thank Jack Designs for a good-looking car, and all my teammates there at Outlaw Motorsports. So, yeah, that's all I got to thank right now. And the guys putting the league on.
Well, thank you for your time. Congratulations, Michael Redding, on your second place finish here this week at Limaland.
Yeah, appreciate it.
There you have it. Our second place finisher, Michael Redding. Now, I think the man down in pit lane down there, Devin, you got a hold of Dylan Schweier.
Yeah, Dylan Schwer coming out in the top 3, finishing in 3rd here at Limaland. Dylan, man, you moved up and down throughout the top 10. How did you navigate through the field, around the field, especially with those late race restarts?
I was just picking my spots. Everybody was on the top, and I tried the bottom a little too soon, and then I went back to the top and got in line, and I got lucky on a couple of restarts, and then at the bottom, or there at the end, I just went to the bottom, and I was just going to live or die down there, and it worked out.
Ended up living down there, obviously, finishing in 3rd. How did you need to adjust as that cushion kept on moving out and out and out?
It was real tricky. I mean, there towards the beginning of the race, it was pretty easy to ride around that cushion, but it got more and more tricky, and that's when people started making mistakes, and that bottom started working a little bit.
And who do you got to thank for your performance here tonight?
The Stars on Dirt guys, my girlfriend for watching the kids, whenever I'm down here racing. But yeah, all my teammates, they keep me going here.
Coming home on the podium in 3rd. Congrats, Dylan.
All right, thanks, man.
And that's going to do it here for the Bootleg Racing League's coverage, or GSRC's coverage of the Bootleg Racing League. We'd like to thank our sponsor, the Cruise Shop. You can contact them at 260-755-6125 or go online with the cruiseshopfw.com. The Cruise Shop is dedicated to fulfilling each client's dreams one destination at a time. Thanks to the Bootleg Racing League. Thanks to the companies and equipment that provide the software and hardware that we use on our broadcast listed on the screen right now. Additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides the music for each of our productions. See the screen to how to make contact there. I'd like to thank everybody who made this possible up here in the booth. And, of course, I'm talking about Gary and Joe and Devin. Of course, Dougie Beard for his cameras. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including a complete list of races coming up, go to globalsimracingchannel.com or check us out on social media at Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Gram. And if you'd like to support the channel, go check out our merchandise store at GSRC.storenv.com. The link is in the description below, and you can check out. There's lots of fine stuff there. Sadly, the GSRC beach and umbrella set are out of stock, but you can find something good to order. Don't forget to head over to our YouTube page and hit that big red subscription button so you don't miss a thing here on GSRC. The next race coming up, it says it's going to be, I have no idea. I'll look right on here. It'll tell me. That says round, help me out. Do we know, Director, what it is? It's going to be next Friday. Round 4 is going to be at Knoxville. That'll be great. You don't want to miss that. Same bat channel, same bat station. So, finally, as we wish everybody good health out there, until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.